The vets are here from London Zoo. They will, give the whale a large anaesthetic dose, which will put it to sleep. I think Sam, my colleague who's down there, she got here at about 7:30 last night.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was here about 9 o'clock, and we left at about 2 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
And then back up this morning. So
a sad end for you then?
Yes. It's always sad, but we now know that putting that back out into the open sea would have been sending it basically to starve out there. It's something's happened. It's been separated from either its mother or at least from a group. So that and the fact that it's in nutritionally poor state. It's also got injuries from live stranding, and it did strand for. We know it was on the, trying to work out how long it was, 5 or 7 hours yesterday it stranded for. So all the time that happens, the inside, the organs and things, they can get damaged as well. So, but we, the size of it generally is, we have to know that if we're going to put it back out at sea, that it's going to be able to survive.
An injured mink whale calf which became stranded in London's River Thames was put down on Monday after its condition deteriorated and hopes for its survival faded, hundreds of miles from its home. The whale had been spotted by a Reuters photographer swimming upstream in the Thames after rescuers had refloated it to save its life, but it became stuck again. Despite the efforts of rescuers from the Port of London Authority, Royal National Lifeboat Institute, RNLI, British Divers Marine Life Rescue, London Fire Brigade and the police, the whale was put down. Julia Cable, the national coordinator at British Divers Marine Life Rescue, BDMLR, said they were going to put the whale to sleep, adding, "It's suffering quite badly, it has been for about the last 45 minutes. Ms. Cable added the whale would be given an overdose of anesthetic and wouldn't feel anything except the needle. She said, "We're just trying to ease any suffering." The RNLI later confirmed the whale had been put down. The injured baby whale dubbed Minnie, which was swimming up the River Thames after becoming trapped even further inland for the second time in less than 24 hours. Fears for the whale grew after the injured calf headed in the wrong direction, away from the sea, and it faced a struggle for survival in the Thames, where nutrition is much more meager than at its natural habitat in the North Atlantic. Cable said the size of the whale, estimated at around 13 feet, suggested that it was still maternally dependent, or at least socially dependent, so they cannot put it back out. It's nutritionally in a poor state. Either it's been separated from its mum too early, or something's happened. It's run out of energy, she said. It won't have been feeding well in the Thames. It will be dehydrated, it's starved. The 13-feet infant calf was refloated by rescuers after getting stuck on a concrete slipway at Richmond Lock last night but today appeared to have become tangled in weeds under a bridge at Teddington Lock, more than 60 miles from the estuary and hundreds more from its usual North Sea habitat. In a statement posted on their Facebook page, BDMLR said, "The juvenile mink whale in the River Thames at Teddington Weir has deteriorated rapidly over the last couple of hours. Monitoring by BDMLR medics and representatives from the Cetacean Strandings Investigation Programme, UK Strandings, based at the Zoological Society of London. The animal is positioned against the river wall and the tide is now dropping quickly and it is expected the animal will be beached very soon. BDMLR medics will try to position themselves to prevent the whale entering deep water again where it is now having difficulty swimming as its strength reserves seem to be compromised. Once the whale is beached, a veterinary team will be on standby to euthanize the animal to end its suffering. In the meantime, the team will continue to do what they can to care for the animal under these sad circumstances. But hopes of saving the mammal were rapidly diminishing as experts fear the injured calf, which was showing signs of distress, was completely stationary in the water up against a wall. Ms. Cable previously said Minnie was as good as stranded. "It's not really going to come down to a rescue now," she said. "Its condition is deteriorating. It's not acting the way it did last night. It's basically lost any energy that it had left in it. It's also got another stranding injury which along with ones from yesterday all adds up really. We're just going to make it a little bit more comfortable and we're going to have a veterinarian come down and take another look at it, and then they'll make a decision. It's not looking like we'll be able to refloat the animal." Dan Jarvis, Welfare Development and Field Support Officer at the BDMLR service, said that, in all likelihood, the animal would be put to sleep to prevent further suffering, after the veterinarian discovered last night that Minnie is in poor nutritional condition. Mr. Jarvis said the rescuers work in conjunction with the Cetacean Strandings Investigation Program, CSIP, which carries out post-mortem examinations. He said they are likely to need help from the Port of London Authority to make arrangements for the removal of the whale. Port of London Authority spokesman Martin Garside compared the case to, like seeing a camel at the North Pole, adding, "We are in uncharted territory. This animal is very, very lost." He added, "He's run out of river to be honest, he has got nowhere to go unless he turns back and swims the right way. That whale's life hangs in the balance, it is injured, it is very young and it is so far from home. This animal comes from the northern North Sea, so it is hundreds of miles where it should be. The whale is 100 miles from the opening to the North Sea in the Thames estuary. There is no obvious sign of his mother. The common minke whale is the smallest of all baleen whales, reaching 26 to 30 feet long. The whales prefer cooler temperatures and enjoy a varied diet of krill and schooling fish, according to the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Group. They do not usually appear in the Thames and it was not clear why the calf was so far from its normal feeding grounds. Danny Groves of Whale and Dolphin Conservation told Reuters, "This whale could have become lost whilst following prey, or could be ill or injured. Equally, many whales and dolphins get into difficulty because they may have been struck by a vessel at sea, injured in fishing nets, driven off course by loud underwater noise from seismic surveys for oil or gas, or loud underwater sonar from military exercises. This poor individual is way off course and still faces a struggle to get back out to sea." The common minke, which is the smallest of all baleen whales, do not usually appear in the Thames and it was not immediately clear why the calf was so far from its normal feeding grounds. A large crowd of spectators gathered along the banks to watch RNLI volunteers help the mammal, which experts say would normally still be with its mother at its current age and was showing signs of injury and distress. Video showed the mammal being hosed down by a Port of London Authority staffer while a vet performed a checkup at the river's edge, before the RNLI arrived at the scene to the cheers of onlookers at 9 p.m. yesterday. Fire crews were also at the scene, along with the BDMLR service, before footage posted from the incident showing the whale finally being freed at about 1 a.m. But the whale was spotted near Teddington Lock at just after 10:20 a.m. today, heading downstream, away from the sea, towards Chiswick and back towards Richmond Lock and Weir. The whales prefer cooler temperatures and enjoy a varied diet of krill and schooling fish, according to the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Group. A spokeswoman for the RNLI said, "Chiswick's RNLI crew were tasked by London Coast Guard at 8 p.m. on Sunday, May 9 and worked with the Fire Rescue Service, police and British Divers Marine Life Rescue to try to free the whale. Together they managed to free it and were taking it to a deeper part of the river when it swam away. The whale was displaying concerning behaviours and experts in attendance were concerned that it may be unwell." London Fire Brigade Station Commander Glenn Nicolaides, who was at the scene, said, "This was a very rare and unusual incident. Crews assisted the Coast Guard, RNLI and other marine agencies at the scene. Our crews were on standby while a marine biologist and vet assessed the condition of the whale. The mammal was removed for further assessment by marine specialists. The whale was thought to be injured and it was not known whether it would make it back to the sea." The PLA said the teams freed the beached whale using an inflatable pontoon device and they towed it downstream before it swam free near Isleworth. The spokesman said the whale, dubbed Minnie, was injured, stressed and tired and it was unknown whether it would make it back to the sea. It was unknown if the whale is male or female. Footage posted from the scene showed the whale finally being freed at about 1 a.m. Earlier, a witness said that, "Quite the crowd watched as the attempted rescue took place." Jake Manchetto, 20, from Richmond, said, "Everyone here is just hoping they get it out. We couldn't believe our eyes when we first saw the poor fella. Not every day something like this happens in Richmond." It is believed the whale was first spotted at midday a few miles up the river near Barnes Bridge. A spokesman for the PLA, which owns and operates the lock, said, "At around 7 p.m. on Sunday, a small whale, approximately 3 to 4 meters long, believed to be a minke whale, became stranded at Richmond Lock in Weir. PLA staff have attempted to assist the whale with water along with British divers Marine Life Rescue. Minke whales are the smallest of the great whales, growing to about 10 meters. They can usually be found throughout the northern Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Their range extends from the ice edge in the Arctic during the summer to near the equator during winter. The lock is situated between Teddington and Richmond, comprising of 3 vertical steel gates suspended from a footbridge. The desperate rescue operation got underway yesterday after the young whale was found stranded along the River Thames. A team from the Royal National Lifeboat Institute, RNLI, was joined by 2 fire crews and the British Divers Marine Life Rescue to help rescue the aquatic mammal, which was first spotted in Richmond Lock at around 7:30 p.m. Rescue teams successfully moved the infant whale onto an inflatable dinghy used for marine animals just after 10 p.m. and are now assessing its condition. Hours earlier, crowds of concerned spectators gathered along the river as a vet checked the infant's vitals and another rescuer hosed the animal down with water after the creature became stuck on the lock's boat rollers. The beached whale, which was around 10 to 13 feet long, was spotted earlier in the day swimming a few miles up the river near Barnes Bridge before it became stranded in Richmond. Spokesperson for the Port of London Authority, Martin Garside, told Mailonline, rescue teams from the RNLI, the British Divers Marine Life Rescue and the Fire Brigade stabilized the situation, with the rescue teams all working together. They have managed to successfully secure the whale inside the purpose-built piece of equipment for marine mammals, and the last I heard is that the whale is alive. The advantage of that inflatable equipment is that it will take some of the weight of the animal off the concrete, but also it will allow the medics to assess the animal's condition while they look at all options. It does appear to be a very young animal. Very juvenile. Mr. Garside added, the lock belongs to the Port of London Authority, but there's a real team effort going on now. We've got PLA staff, British Divers and Marine Life Rescue, the London Fire Brigade, medics, the RNLI and the police assisting. The police are there as a matter of precaution, just to keep people away from the whale and from the river and the water's edge. There's quite a lot of activity right now. We're essentially trying to stabilize the situation with the whale so that the marine mammal experts can assess the whale. What is its health like? What is its condition? Until they're able to do that and get some light onto it, the situation is fairly unclear. In other words, we don't really know the health of the whale and the condition of the whale and the age. It's fairly small and almost certainly a minke. In a statement, the Port of London Authority added, at around 7 p.m. on Sunday, a small whale, approximately 3 to 4 meters long, believed to be a minke whale, became stranded at Richmond Lock in Weir. PLA staff have attempted to assist the whale with water along with British Divers Marine Life Rescue. The whale is still alive and the Metropolitan Police are working to keep the public away from the water's edge. Earlier yesterday, Richard Frank, who was at the scene in Richmond Lock, said, seems to be a baby whale stuck by Richmond Lock Bridge. Poor thing. Being looked after by the lock keepers and waiting for experts to arrive. He added, not moving a lot, but honestly no idea. At least someone has arrived who looks like they might know what they're doing health-wise, but with low tide still to come it looks pretty tough to me. While another witness wrote on social media, this is one very very lost whale. It's gone through the whole of London to Richmond Lock. A Metropolitan Police spokesperson said, police were called to Richmond Lock shortly before 8 p.m. on Sunday the 9th of May to reports of a large crowd gathering. Officers attended to assist with crowd control. Yesterday, footage showed the minke whale thrashing in the waters as rescue teams attempted to move it onto the purpose-built inflatable dinghy. A spokesman for Chiswick's RNLI told Mailonline, Chiswick's RNLI crew were tasked by London Coast Guard at 8 p.m. on Sunday the 9th of May and worked with the Fire Rescue Service, police, and British Divers Marine Life Rescue to try to free the whale. Together they managed to free it and were taking it to a deeper part of the river when it swam away. The whale was displaying concerning behaviors and experts in attendance were concerned that it may be unwell. The Chiswick crew in attendance returned to the station by 4 a.m. this morning and the day crew are now on call. The animals, which are usually found in the northern Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, often swim together in small feeding groups and prefer cooler temperatures. In February last year, a team of rescuers were sent out to recover a sperm whale that died after getting caught in the Thames estuary. A small team on a 4th Linesman boat set out to recover the creature as it lay washed up on the Spitland marshes on the Isle of Sheppey in Swale, Kent. The British divers Marine Life Rescue, who had been keeping a close eye on the creature, said it likely died of natural causes, brought on by starvation, after it appeared underweight and had scarring. The whale was found stranded and dead just before midday on February 1, the British divers Marine Life Rescue confirmed. The whale had appeared confused and was changing direction regularly when swimming around mudflats in North Kent. Its body was later secured for examination by the Cetacean Stranding Investigation Program as they tried to establish why the ocean-going animal had come into the Thames estuary. In 2019, a humpback whale, nicknamed Hesse, died in the Thames just 11 days after it was first sighted. The juvenile female had been travelling back and forth over a stretch of 5 miles after it was first sighted near Dartford Bridge in Kent before it was found dead by rescuers. A detailed post-mortem examination later found the mammal was nutritionally compromised, while experts found a heavy burden of parasites within the humpback's intestine. Meanwhile, in November 2019, a minke whale was found washed up underneath London's Battersea Bridge. The carcass was found underneath the bridge by a Port of London Authority (PLA) patrol boat. The PLA, who estimated that the whale measured around 26 feet, 8 meters, long, later moved the whale to one of its facilities in East London where a specialist team at ZSL London Zoo carried out a postmortem to establish a cause of death. Earlier that same year, Benny the beluga, who rose to national fame when he was spotted in 2018, was spotted in the River Thames at Gravesend, Kent. Officials said the animal could have followed the fish which migrate out of the estuary early in the year. Click the link to read the related article and watch the video coverage.
As well, so, but we, the size of it generally is, we have to know that if we're going to put it back out at sea, that it's going to be able to survive.
Waiting for it to blow again. I've got a feeling he's going to. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just...
Oh, bless it.
I do is Sally, come round here for me.